Hello everyone, this is Martin. Welcome back to another weekly video. I've been producing these videos now for about 2 years, and I know I'm gathering a pretty good following. So the content is always fantastic. It's always very educational, and hopefully the idea is to help you trade Forex. So today's video is really important. I talk about MOMO trading. You can see that, M-O-M-O. And what is MOMO trading? Well, if you haven't guessed, take a look here. We're talking about momentum, which is a key part of MOMO trading. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart here. Can you see momentum on the chart? Okay, now, if you were to say momentum was here or here, basically we're looking at momentum, which can either do one of two things. One, momentum increases or accelerates, okay, or it stalls and basically slows down. Those are the only two things momentum can do. Now, if you take a look over here, for instance, and you were to say that momentum is decreasing, then you've got to watch the rest of this video to really understand what momentum is all about and how to see that. Okay? Okay, guys, this is me, and if you've never seen any of my videos before, my name is Martin. You can see my name right here. I'm a proud Canadian trader, and if you ever want to reach me for any reason, or you've got some questions, and remember, there are no dumb questions, I'd be more than happy to help you. So contact me at mskyj007@gmail.com. Okay, now, this video is all about momentum trading, MOMO trading, okay? MOMO is another word or short form that describes a trading strategy using momentum. Now, in this video, we're going to answer several questions. Number one, what is momentum trading exactly? Number two, how do you see momentum? And number three, how do you trade with momentum? Okay, let's take a look at the chart. First of all, seeing momentum. What is momentum? Well, first of all, the definition of momentum is that it's a measure of strength in the price movement. And you can see that on the charts, okay? You can see this in the direction of price. So let me just grab my drawing tool. So here is momentum, here is momentum. You can see that in the direction of the price. Here is momentum, and here is momentum. So you can see that as price moves up fairly rapidly, over here as price moves down rapidly, here we have increased momentum to the upside, here we have increased momentum to the downside, and the only time momentum stalls or slows down is when it's going sideways. Okay, let me just take that off. So obviously price can go on in a sideways pattern, or you know, between support and resistance sideways without very little up and down movement. So that's when markets are sideways and we're trading within a channel, and that's when we can say momentum is actually slowing down. And what usually happens after that? Well, momentum increases again, either one way or another, to the upside or to the downside. Okay, as I've already said, you can easily see momentum on the chart. It's very visual, and that's why a lot of traders love to trade, because with momentum, you've got a trend. Okay, momentum with market sentiment equals a trend, and that's great for the trend following traders as well as the swing traders. But the real big question is, you can see increased momentum on the chart after it happens, right? Okay, that's the easy part. You can always see something on a chart after it happens, but what happens, and the big question is, how and where do you see momentum before you already see the momentum pattern on a chart. So where and how do you see momentum before it really takes off? And if you can master this part of trading, then you're well on your way to success, and you'll do much better than 90% of the traders out there. Okay, so that's really important. Keep that question in the back of your mind. We're going to answer that at the as the video goes on a little bit later on. So now we're going to look at 5 different ways to see momentum. Okay guys, this is number 1. The angle of price movement is one great way to see momentum and the strength of the price movement. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, if price is moving above a 45-degree angle line, and you have to almost envision that in your mind, and I'll try to draw that here for you, but 45 degrees is approximately there. So 45-degree angle, okay, and if price is, okay, this is the difference between price and the actual 45-degree line. So if price is moving at a greater angle than the 45-degree line, then we can simply say that the momentum is strong, and in this case, strong to the downside. Now, 45 degrees this way, you can see price as well is below the 45-degree line here to the downside. So again, we can say here, price, the momentum of the downtrend is very strong. And same thing here, okay? This is like a 45-degree here. This is 45 degrees, so you can see with this downtrend. So here we have a very strong downtrend, and again here, over here. So you can see the different phases of market movement, and this is one way of seeing the strength of the momentum with your eyes, without any indicators, without anything else on your charts like lines, trend lines, or moving averages, or anything like that. So number 2, let me just get number 2 for you. Big momentum candles. Now let's teach you something about candlesticks, okay? And another way to see momentum, especially near the beginning of a momentum move, are seeing big momentum candles, which can predict the trend direction. So bullish momentum candles for an uptrend and bearish momentum candles for a downtrend. Now, let's take a look on the chart, okay? Again, I'm going to use my drawing tool. Take a look. So here you can see one big, huge white candle. That's a bullish momentum candle right there. And you can see the follow-up after that. Price went up pretty steeply. Here we have another one right there and another one just down below. Let me just take that off for a second. You can see a lot of these big white bullish momentum candles are engulfing. They completely engulf the previous black bearish candles. So that's a good sign for good momentum starting. Okay, here we have a good momentum to the upside. Now here is a very strong, super big momentum candle. Okay, and often price goes in the direction of these momentum candles, but beware that the bigger the candle, let me just take that off, if the candle is super large, there's going to be a slight pullback first before the trend continues to the upside. The reason for these huge white bullish candles is usually because of some news event. Okay, there's one right there. Possibly there's one. Okay, so you can see like right here, news events, when they come out, their economic news, they impact the direction of the currency pair, and so beware of very large, rapid moves like this. Wait for the pullback before watching for another momentum move to the upside. Okay, so momentum candles can certainly predict the trend direction, and watch for them as price is moving either to the upside or the downside. So you also have some large downward large momentum candles to the downside. There's one right here. There's one right there. There is one right there. Okay, and again, you know, you can see them all along. But in a the momentum candles to the downside, the big momentum candles, the bearish candles are good in a downtrend, so you can trade down, but also if you see the bearish candles right here, like here is a huge bearish candle, momentum candle that's possibly related to a news event. Beware, we're still in an uptrend, okay? We're still in an uptrend, so we don't want to take sell trades at this part right here. In fact, we want to wait till the price moves around again and bounces off of a support here, whether it's a trend line or moving averages, and then we want to continue trading higher. We want to continue in the same general direction as the overall trend, and in this case right here we're in an uptrend. Okay, so let's move on, and now we get to number 3, space between moving averages. Now, this is important for you newbie traders. You can put on your charts any moving averages you want, okay? It doesn't matter. I'll give you some suggestions. You can use a 5 EMA and a 10 EMA, or you can use an 8 and a 21 EMA, or a 21 and 50 EMA, whatever two you want. And it's not that important what the EMAs are, as long as you put together a strategy that trades using the moving averages, and you trade consistently the same each and every time. But the important thing I want to tell you about is the space between the moving averages. If it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that means the momentum is increasing. So what do I mean by that? Well, take a look at the space here. Here's the space between the two moving averages, okay? And can you see the space between the averages is getting wider and wider and wider, right? Okay, so here we have a clear case of momentum that is increasing, okay? Now here again, you can see space here getting wider, okay? It's consistent here, but we have increased momentum to the downside here. You can see, look at the space right here. So huge momentum here at this reversal, okay, and the momentum increased quite a bit there. And again, you can see momentum is increasing by quite a bit, showing that price along with momentum is pushing price higher and higher. So that could be part of a trading strategy as well. Okay, just remember, when the space between the moving averages gets wider and wider and wider, momentum is increasing. Obviously, when the moving averages come together, okay, then something else happens. So, you just got to keep that in mind. So remember, momentum either increases or slows down before increasing again, whether to the upside or to the downside. Okay, let's move on, and we've got number 4, guys. The up and down price cycles. Now, this is important as well. This is part of market structure. We've got large up and down price cycles. So the larger the up and down price cycles, we have stronger and stronger momentum. Okay, now I've drawn for you on this chart. By the way, all the charts I'm showing you are exactly the same. I'm just showing you how you can see momentum in different ways. Okay, but all the charts that I've shown you up till now are the exact same charts. Okay, so here we have support, here we have resistance, here we have support, here we have resistance, here we have support, and more support here. We actually had resistance here, but you can see price moves up in cycles. Here's an up cycle, a down cycle, up cycle, down cycle, up cycle, down cycle. Now we start moving up again here, down, okay, up, down, and you can see the bigger the cycles here, this is a huge momentum to the upside, very strong momentum to the downside. Here is momentum to the upside, Here's very strong momentum to the downside. This momentum here is small. It's not as strong, okay? This is not as strong. This is a very strong momentum cycle right here. So, not only can we determine momentum from the cycles, the size of the cycles, but let me take that off for a second. This also, understanding cycles, and this is a kind of, not part of the lesson really, but it's showing you how trends work. And here we have a high, here we have a lower high to this high, here we have a lower low to this low, here this low is lower than this low, this high is lower than this high. So here, okay, we actually show you the definition of a trend, and when trend reverses, okay, when trend reverses, it makes a higher high, higher low to the previous low, higher high, higher low again, okay, as price starts doing this, then that is the uptrend reversal, and here we had a downtrend. So that's the definition of a downtrend and an uptrend. Again, it's not really part of the lesson, but I thought I would throw that in for you. Now, the next one, number 5, let's take a look, guys. Using a momentum indicator. Now, this is one of the best ways seeing momentum quickly as well, okay? And by the way, I've left a chart on with this time with, it's the same chart, you can see that right here, but I've left on the cycle highs and lows, right? Okay, and this time I've also, well, I've left on the moving averages, okay? The 2 moving averages we used in the previous slide there. So here I've added this kind of histogram, and it's an oscillator. It's the MACD. There are many other type of oscillators that you can use as well, but you can see it goes up and down, and this one's colored. So you're going to have to search the internet, guys, for this type of MACD oscillator that shows you color. It's like a colored MACD, and you can see when it's green above the 0 line, the dividing line here right in the center is the 0 level. So when you have green above the 0, we are in a strong uptrend. You can see it coincides with that. When we have red, see the red here below the 0 line, we have increased momentum to the downside. Now this is important. The very dark red right here, the very bright red, okay? This bright red shows very increased momentum to the downside. Here momentum is slowing down a bit, increased momentum to the downside because it's bright red. This part of the histogram, these are histo bars, by the way. Okay, I want you to look at the histo bars. I also call them momentum bars because these indicate the strength of the momentum. So here the bright green is when momentum is very strong to the upside. When we have this pattern right here, it's very light green. You have very weak momentum, okay, and possibly turning over soon. And in this case, you can see momentum increase to the downside. So remember, momentum either increases or accelerates. Accelerates is another word for increased momentum. Here's increased momentum to the downside, or it slows down here. Slows down, okay? Slows down right there, okay? Before increasing or accelerating again with the bright green. So, using a momentum indicator, and by the way, you can also change the parameters of the MACD. The normal MACD is 12.26.9. You can see that right there. But you can change the parameters to suit your trading strategy as well. So, that is super important. Adding a momentum indicator can certainly help you understand and see momentum and possibly give you some aid you in your trading strategy. Okay, now as a summary, number 1, you can look at the angle of price movement in an up or downtrend. Number 2, look at big momentum candles. That often gives you a clue as to future direction. Number 3, if the space between the moving averages is increasing, you're getting momentum is increasing. If it's decreasing, that means momentum is slowing down. Size of price cycles, the waves up and down, bigger price cycles show you bigger momentum moves. And finally, using a momentum indicator like the MACD is a very good idea as well. Now, remember the important question, right? How and where do you see momentum before it really takes off, okay? Well, you need to look for momentum at places on the chart where things happen. They're at the support and resistance areas. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, so where do you see momentum before it really takes off? Okay, you got to look at areas of support or resistance. Always look at support and resistance. And I did have a previous video. I'll put the link down below this video on how to draw support and resistance zones correctly. It's very important that you follow that video, review it. It's going to make you a master at trading, but you're going to see areas like this previously before it even happens, okay? And so the momentum changes at these areas here at support and resistance. It happens here at the moving averages. You see here price went down with strong momentum. And then price moved up toward the moving average, and price slowed down. But then something happened, and price increased again to the downside with strong momentum. So if you look for areas of moving averages, resistance and support, trend lines, if you draw a trend line, for instance, I'll draw a trend line, okay, and you can see price often hits the trend lines, okay, and something will happen there. So momentum starts at trend lines, and you always want to see how price reacts at all of these areas. Now, all of these areas of confluence to call, like trend lines, moving averages, support and resistance, they're all areas of confluence, but just to help you understand something, these areas are called decision areas where price direction may either accelerate, well, slow down in this case. First it slows down, then accelerates to the downside. So there's only a few things that can happen at these decision areas. These are decision areas, guys, okay? Very important for you to understand that. Okay, this is a decision area, but don't use the MACD as an entry, just to confirm what's happening on the chart, okay? And so, decision areas are where price direction may accelerate, slow down, or reverse, and the best leading indicators for momentum are the actual candles themselves, okay? The huge, big momentum candles, as I call them, so keep that in mind. It'll always tell you what's going on, okay? And finally, I just want to take that off, okay? The final thing that I want to talk to you about is how to trade with momentum. You want to look for price to react with movement at the areas of support or resistance, okay? So that's one way. So here's resistance, here's support, but this is really good support here. And you want to anticipate price reversals. So here, you're anticipating price reversals. Okay? Very important to understand that. So that's one way to trade with momentum. Now, number 2, look for price breakouts of key levels with momentum. Okay? Key levels, and a key level may be right there. So a breakout to the upside, or here a breakout to the upside. Beware of false breakouts, but often look for momentum candles and in breakout areas to confirm trend direction. So that's another way. Another way is looking for price to react in pullbacks, and this is one of my best and most simplest ways, because you can see this after this has happened, even if you've missed the move here, wait for a pullback, guys. Look, right there's a big, huge white momentum candle, another huge one there. So these are opportunities to get in here. Look at this. Here's another area to get in, another area to get in, guys. Okay, and again, a pullback. Here's a pullback right there, and here is a beautiful pullback. So after areas of pullbacks, look for clues of momentum, whether they be candlesticks and tests of the moving averages. Remember that these are all the decision areas where something will happen, where momentum will usually accelerate, and that is super important, guys. Okay. Another way to trade with momentum is to watch for momentum and direction after a moving average cross, guys. Okay, so here's a moving average cross. This is when the lower term time moving average crosses above here, in this case, the longer term moving average. Here is another cross of the moving average, guys. Okay, this one did not cross. It just bounced off the longer term moving average. Here's a cross, guys. So these are all decision areas. Okay, just keep that in mind. Decision areas where something could happen, where momentum can accelerate after that. And that can also be part of your trading strategy. Okay. And finally, trade in the direction of a higher time frame. So example, if you normally trade on the hourly chart, take a look at the 4-hour and the daily charts. Trade in the direction. If you see momentum on the higher time frame, trade in the same direction on your lower time frame chart. If you're trading on the daily chart, guys, if you're trading on the daily, then look at the weekly to see what the momentum is on the weekly time frame chart and trade in that direction. So trade in the direction of the higher time frame charts. That's always something really, really important to do. Question, guys. Do you trade using momentum as your main strategy? How so? I would love your feedback in the comments section below the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you're going to keep watching. And guys, if you really like the video, don't forget to subscribe, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, click on the like button and comment. Comment below the video, okay, guys? It's so super important. Subscribe. Click on the bell when you click on the subscribe. That makes sure that you get the videos in your inbox, okay? And I thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, all new subscribers from around the world, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time, which is, of course, next week. Take care.